There's just 1 minute to showtime.
The engines are on.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
When they wrote up the systems and the rule set that we use, did working people get to write a line? What class of men on pen and paper jotted down their clues? With capital, the heart of their design. When 90 million want a thing, but some shareholders say no. Which class of people get to have their way? The people read the fine print, say that this thing has got to go, and we'll start writing a new contract here today. Don't you know that hundreds will work and one man keeps the money? They don't think they gotta tell us why. When they say the new social contract, all the bosses will be gobsmacked and everyone will want a sign. Oh, yeah, everyone will want a sign.
Okay, hello cousins. Thank you for joining us. This was a afternoon of starting off thinking something was wrong with everything, and then nothing was wrong. So we have that's the thing that we have to contend with all the time too, because we have issues all the time, and we never know whose end it's on, if it's on both of our end or what's going on. And this time it was actually nothing. So we're starting off a little bit scrambled here, or I am, anyways. But welcome. Thank you for being here with us. As always, I am joined by my talented and illustrious co-host, our very own Mr. Mayor Jared. How are you doing, Jared?
What's going on, everybody? Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, good morning to the west. Yeah. Good afternoon to the east. We're all over the place. So glad to have you. Glad that you can be with us. Or if you are watching after we have aired, glad that you have decided to check out our content. So there's basically one thing going on at this point. Well, a couple of things. They're all kind of we're talking domino effect here. This is this ridiculous conflict with Iran, based on mostly just trying to cover up for the Epstein files. Don't think we've forgotten. The internet seems to have, which I think is pretty crazy, because it really didn't seem like this could be like anything that we could ever ultimately get past. But we're looking at a situation here where nothing's happening. Like, it's all out there. Like, there's a significant portion of these files out there and nothing is coming of it. Some other countries tried to pretend like they were doing some stuff, like, oh, we don't like it, but they just mostly wanted to act like they were doing things. So we're kind of just sitting around waiting to see what's going on. And apparently the United States gets to do war about it. So we have that going on. But again, the big thing here now is that we had to pivot away from that and into the result of it, which is this conflict. It's kind of when you're dealing with the people on the left, and us in particular, we're like, we've been talking about this fall of the United States empire for a very long time, and now it just seems to really have accelerated in a big way due to all of this, because I think most people on the world stage, particularly Americans who are just like inundated with ridiculous hoorah propaganda, thought that this was a one and done, like we're in totally control of this, like America hoorah, yay, we're doing it. No, that's not what's happening at all. So Iran is in complete control of this. They've been waiting for this moment, maybe so as long as the 70s. So what we're looking at now is it is on their home turf, which that's why the United States is so fragrant with their talk of doing nukes and things like that, because it's not here and it wouldn't impact the people domestically. But it's not going to come to that because they also have this deluded idea that the donors who run, our government have this deluded idea that they're going to get to exploit that territory and get to take it over and give it to Israel and to run, which is just not realistic. What we're really looking at this point is that they are really controlling the game on the world stage. They are handling it. They are shutting down military bases all around, which is getting re-propagandized here as they're attacking everyone randomly and crazily and they're insane, which is not what's going on. They're very meticulous and they're handling it quite well. And then we're seeing a potential handing down of the Hannibal Directive, which I think Jared's going to talk to us about here in a second. As we became aware of on October 7th about, fragging your own people. So that looks like that may have transpired as well. So United States is not handling this with any degree of decorum or I guess there's not a quorum of war, but I mean, just any degree of, methodology or anything. There's nothing going on here. So, and at the same time, we're also looking at Iran starting to talk to their neighbors and make alliances. They're talking to France. Obviously Russia and China are part of the conversation. Probably a lot more people, taking the Strait of Hormuz and moving it onto the yen, who's a huge step in the world stage. So they're really running this game. Which is not, I don't think, something that the United States government, the donors, anybody, whoever is informing these people, that this was going to happen. So we are basically have hit the power up button as far as the empire is dying. So, and it's going to be harder on us domestically, obviously, but it's especially as these donors, as the people who are actually running things, the big money people start to try to extract even more money out of the world and out of us and anything that they can before they eventually take off. So I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Jared here, who's going to are you starting with the Hannibal Directive story, or what?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Iran news of the week, which is our daring. What is this headline? Like, daring rescue mission to save a downed pilot.
Right. And in that same vein, did you see the news story about American pilots put together an entire helicopter in 10 minutes behind enemy lines? Okay, all right. So that's the kind of stuff the Americans are getting exposed to.
I became suspicious of this situation as I was seeing just how much extreme confidence was getting thrown out.
Right.
Like, just going on, and these aren't just like randos. This is like official senators' Twitters and governors, representatives, and they're like the most perfect, beautiful rescue mission of all time has now happened. It's a miracle. But then we had, I don't remember, I think it was Greg Abbott or somebody. They were just it was a picture of supposedly the rescued pilot surrounded by his A-team friends, and it was just a fully fake picture.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh man. And I don't think he knew. I mean,
what they do, they just pretend like they. Oops, I didn't know.
they don't run their own Twitter accounts.
No.
Like, whatever staffer. It's like, all right, was this like the orders came down for what your social media posts are supposed to be? Yep. But even that's weird because it's like, that within like an hour, the reality is going to descend because there's so many people who are spending all day every day looking this stuff up. I mean, we have, the satellite imaging companies are blocking footage of Iran, but only for American citizens. So, like, the whole world but us get to see what's happening.
That's gonna work. Yeah, that'll take care of the problem. But again, remember, the string pullers don't care if the puppets look stupid. I think that's the big headline with all of this.
It's funny because it works under this, like, I guess people have the assumption that, oh, well, only this one company in the U.S. has satellite images of the world on that timely of a fashion, but it's like China's got a satellite network. A whole lot of countries have satellite networks.
Yeah, pretty much everybody.
It's like, this will stop them. I think I even have one. One of my articles here is from that's from the second thing I'm going to talk about, but I'm reading off of the Times of Israel because famously Israel gets more straightforward information about this war than the U.S. media does. They don't feel the need to lie or to, like, flowery language stuff up as much. But let's see here. I got two different my screen share works. I got two different perspectives on the same story. We got no. Oh, what the heck? You're gonna show me every window but the one I want? There it is. We have just love how it's framed. A perilous U.S. rescue mission in Iran nearly went off course. Anytime you see more than two people writing an article, you should immediately be like, huh, what's happening? How are three people writing this? This is off Reuters. Mechanical failure forced risky I have this one because I want to, like, what's the state narrative? What are we supposed to think about this? The rescue, this is April 5th, Easter. The rescue mission had unfolded with near perfect precision. Under cover of darkness, U.S. commandos slipped deep into Iran, undetected, scaled a 7,000-foot ridge, and pulled a stranded American weapons specialist to safety, moving him toward a secret rendezvous point before dawn on Sunday. Then everything stopped. Two MC-130 aircraft that had ferried some of the roughly 100 special operations forces into the rugged 100. It's like if you just believe on its face, okay, we're going to go rescue one soldier. It's like, and that's why we sent 100 special special forces and like
that's totally
10 planes. Fortunately, the rugged terrain of South Tehran suffered a mechanical failure and could not take off, and that's why it got blown up. A U.S. official told Reuters, speaking on condition of anonymity, of course. Suddenly, elite commandos risked being stuck behind enemy lines. Their commanders made a high-risk decision, ordering additional aircraft to fly in to extract the group in waves, a decision that left the elite commandos waiting for a couple of tense hours. There was a whole... Okay, I'm skipping past some of this, like, Band of Brothers. The gamble worked. The rescue force was pulled out in stages, and the U.S. troops destroyed the disabled MC-130s and four additional helicopters. It's like, oh, man, I don't like. If that's the real reason, I'm like even more mad because it's like, so anyway, we blew up 50 hospitals worth of American money. Just in case. As
if they don't have that technology of their own and would definitely need to rip off ours. Like, give me a fucking break. Come on.
Successful extraction in one of the most perilous episodes of the 5-week conflict. Down pilot hit. How is this so long? Like, what else do we have to say? He was there. He's here. Yeah, okay. And how'd he get shut down? I don't know. Anyway, here's the wreckage. But this was like the fact that this is being spun as like all this harrowing success. Like, look at this successful mission. Obtained social media appears to show wreckage of an American aircraft and a helicopter rotor in Isfahan, Iran, with forensic imagery, blah, blah. The military took additional steps, jamming electronics and bombing key roads around the location to prevent people from getting close. The U.S., it's like you're supposed to think...
They're trying to make it sound like so genius and strategic.
It's because everybody's played freaking Helldivers. They're like, the extraction's happening and the swarms are coming in. We gotta last second fly away before the Mongol hordes, before the orcs breach freaking Helm's Deep.
Right.
Like, who's this for? The initial search effort encountered fierce resistance from Iran when it began. After I thought Iran couldn't shoot down these planes. Reuters reported on Friday 2 Black Hawk helicopters involved in the search were hit by Iranian fire but escaped from Iranian airspace. In a separate incident, a pilot ejected from an A-10 Warthog fighter I thought that was Halo. Warthog fighter aircraft after it was hit over Kuwait and crashed. It's like apparently we're getting shot down like all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
But
so what's the actual story here? We're winning or we're getting shot down every other minute? Okay.
Only 13 service members.
Anyone seem to make up their mind in their own propaganda.
They've shoot down all these planes. Only 13 people have died. Like, fucking. So anyway, let's go over to the Times of India. Where
you have to if you're gonna get any kind of actual discussion.
It won't let me resize in a way that gets rid of this side strip. So we're just gonna have to deal with. Oh, I can do this. There we are. Iran on Monday. Oh, okay, here we are. Did the U.S. use F-15E rescue op as a cover to seize uranium?
Jeez.
Is that it? Maybe a question.
Would you put it past them?
Iran on Monday, he already talked about this a week ago. They have a news report of them being like, President Trump has a plan to maybe go get all the uranium out of this area, and then it's like, wow, right in that area, some shit went down. Iran on Monday alleged that the United States rescue mission for the second downed F-15E crew member may have concealed a broader covert objective. Remember in North Korea, we reported on that, where Trump went to for peace diplomatic talks with Kim Jong Un, and then like special forces were sneaking through a swamp and then shot up a bunch of civilians and got the hell out of there because they were like trying to plant listening devices.
Fishermen doing their job.
So yeah, like there's a clear history, and not just freaking Trump. The entire apparatus has a long history of doing this kind of thing, where you throw one thing out as you're like, here's what we're doing, and then it's to. Is it even covering if we know immediately, both before and after, exactly what was going on?
Right.
These people who like pay attention to this. One of the most daring search and rescue mission operations in U.S. history. All right. The remarks came after U.S. President Donald Trump said a second crew member had been shot down. Yeah, got it. Daring search and rescue. I want to give me the uranium part. Iran's military dismissed the mission as a deception and escape mission, insisting that it had been completely foiled. Foreign Ministry sure looks more like that than the thing they're saying. Foreign Ministry spokesman, oh, good luck, here I come. Oh, Ismail Bakay, it's not that bad, said there were many questions and uncertainties surrounding the operation, AFP reported. The area where the American pilot was claimed to be present in Kongiluye and Boyer Ahmad province is a long way from the area where they attempted to land or wanted to land their forces in central Iran. I've been led to believe that this place is just like the middle of absolute nowhere. There's like nothing, which is even funnier where they're like, they were there. Oh, the troops were coming in. We had to get it. It's like, who? What troops? They're so far in the middle of nothing. The possibility that this was a deception operation to steal enriched uranium should not be ignored at all. Iranian authorities also said that several U.S. aircraft were hit during the mission and forced to make emergency landings in Isfahan province, adding that the U.S. resorted to heavy bombardment of the downed jet. U.S. officials, and that's when you're bringing up Hannibal Directive stuff, we don't know whether or not, like, the reports say no, but, like, were the pilots still in the plane that the U.S. was bombing itself to make sure Iran couldn't get the plane, I guess? That's a lot of wreckage, a lot of carnage for no deaths, for just and also no one got hurt in this like bombardment. U.S. officials, however, have described the operation as a complex, intelligent-led rescue. According to NBC's news report, the CIA carried out a covert deception campaign to mislead Iranian forces while locating the missing crew member. While the Iranians were confused and uncertain, that's what I kept hearing about. Was like, it was perfectly laid. It was like a freaking game of Risk. Right. While the Iranians were confused and uncertain of what was happening, the agency used its unique, exquisite capabilities to search for and find the American. So yeah.
And the thing of it is this is like, it is made to sound like a video game. It is made to sound fake. It is made to sound like, talk to people like you were just describing and giving commentary of simple, like this game. It's like clear. This game. Right, because they want you to feel like it's a game, and that's how they get their recruitment tactic right now anyways. Is be like, yeah, you can actually, it's like video games, but you get to kill people. So that's how they're, getting these new recruits. That's like the tactic. So they're doing that exactly the same way, by acting like, oh, the Iranians are so stupid. We said, look over here, and Bugs Bunny them stole the uranium, and then we got our pilot back, and so obviously, like, it's just a bunch of nonsense, at this point, and this is what it's had to resort to. It's not like these are new tactics or anything, but it's just the fact that this is something that just isn't working as well. I mean, maybe it is, honestly. The nightly news people make up posts.
I heard this is fake, like, instantly. It's like these,
right?
They try to throw out these. Is it fooling anybody? Like,
I feel like I want to say it's so stupid that it would be like, no, people aren't getting it. And then if you're obviously in like the leftish sphere of thing, then you're like, no, nobody's fucking falling for this. This is stupid as hell. But then again, you have to think about like actual people, and like anywhere that you live or work or anybody you've ever met, and they are all like nightly news people who are going to believe what they're told and ask no questions and take, and then you go and you see things like YouGov polls and things like this, and they're like, America thinks America's winning everything. Yay, America. And it's like, what the fuck are you even talking? Who are you asking these questions of? So we have to continually remind ourselves we are still in the minority in terms of not believing propaganda and dumb shit that's put in our face in state media. So it's like, a lot of people don't do the Twitter thing. A lot of people aren't able to even see these, reports from people who are actually there. It was the same thing with Palestine. Like, people are just like, if they even were dialed into it in the slightest, which you basically can at this point say no, they weren't. That they, it's a more of a global thing than it is a domestic thing intentionally. That they like were just taking whatever they were told verbatim, and if they had any information on it at all. And this because like you have talked to like anyone, and this is like the overriding thing that people seem to believe is going on. So yeah, the question is like, was there a Hannibal directive? Probably. Did it go the way that they wanted it to? Probably not. Like, did they think that they were the big heroes and want everybody to think that they were? Yeah. So it's like they also believe their own hype. So we know for a fact that Iran is currently, if you know what, I think I have. I'm gonna look real quick while I talk. There was a map, or a couple of, I guess they were maps. Let me see here. I'm scanning some stuff real quick. There were a couple of maps about like, where there were military bases surrounding Iran, and then now, like before and then now. And they were like obviously like dramatically like reduced. I'm not seeing it. Shucks. Anyways, that was the whole thing, is that there were a bunch around, and then they are now that they're gone. And then that's where you're getting a lot of the media stuff going on, where they're acting like Iran are these big bullies in their own country, who are being attacked, but they're the monsters, and they're going around attacking everybody else just willy-nilly, like, oh, they're attacking civilians, and they're attacking, they're not. They're attacking army bases, and they're taking out military. And that's the big thing to take away from all of this, is that they are doing like a very precise, very thought out, maybe it's like we said, before, that this may have been a clandestine situation coming since, the 70s. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can share my screen without a catastrophe happening. My computer is haunted and it doesn't like to share screens. So I will show it since I was talking about it. Okay. Oh, yep. Okay. I'm going to do it, guys. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's like where the military bases were. And then now they've either shut down, or that they've been, attacked by Iran, shoring up their own borders. But like, that is pretty significant. That's between, what is it, 28, end of February and now, or end of February. What are those dates? Oh, they're backwards. I'm looking at it like I can't read.
Oh, right. It's international.
Yeah, I'm like, what? A real genius here you're listening to, guys.
28 February to 28 March, yeah.
Yeah, that just goes to show that, like, in about a span of a month, that's how many bases were taken out. And then that also goes to show, like, why the fuck are there so many bases? So if they're just like the irregular, people who are seeing something like a graphic like that, they, the question is, why were there so many military bases there? Well, you should know how many there are around the entire world for no fucking reason other than, intimidation and some sort of sad attempt at world domination, which is, we're seeing it go. We're seeing it happen in this, like, sand through your fingers. Like, it is like America is losing, or United States is losing control of the narrative completely. And we said at this point, with after everything that came out in the Epstein files, there's no conspiracy theories anymore. Everything is on the table. If somebody says something crazy, it's probably because it's true. You really honestly cannot just make stuff up out of this anymore, because everything can be a thing. So we know that almost everybody believes, across the board, you even have this on the left, people believe that that Trump and Netanyahu, that these people are calling shots. They're not calling the shots. They're nobody in government at this point. Maybe there was a time in the history of the United States, like maybe, I don't know, like in the 1850s or something, where
like
there
FDR,
were,
I think.
Yeah, right. It
actually
might have
made
gone
some
up
decisions.
to that point, but as soon I think probably past the point of once again, like we've pointed out, when the CIA decided that they could blow the head off a president in a parade, things were pretty much all bets off at that point, and everything has been going downhill since then. So we know that in particular, Reagan put these policies, which were already happening, but he just made sure it was like, shored it up and made it legal, that corporations got to dictate law and got to use whatever means necessary, paying, using PACs, using secret money, using gifts, even though they're like, haha, we don't do that. That's not allowed. They just, they do that so that you will think that, oh, well, it's not allowed, so they can't do it. So because then they have all these other routes to be able to do that. So, that's really what it is. So we've had a long history of people, corporations and donors just being able to do whatever they want and dictate policy. And we know that to be true on the state level. We know that to be true on the local level. We know that to be true on the national level. So, I get really, it feels like starting over at zero every time you hear somebody say, well, Trump did this and Netanyahu did this. And if Netanyahu wasn't such a crazy asshole and everybody would be all, no. Neither one of them are calling any kind of shot whatsoever, and they're both being used as major smoke screens because they're both irate idiot assholes, and they are being used to distract you from every possible thing going on. Where Trump, he has set a deadline for Iran. He has set one, and then the deadline comes, he's like, he has set another deadline for Iran.
That's the market manipulation.
They better be ready.
About. He always makes the announcements on Fridays and Mondays. It's like Monday 8 a.m. when the markets are about to open. He says the one thing, and then Friday, when the markets
I don't know why that
still
works, but I mean, like that just shows you that our entire economy is based on nothing. Because it's obviously not true. You know that those people in the know controlling the fucking money know it's not true. Yet the markets still respond as if that it is the complete gospel truth. So it is absolute
it's the machine.
bullshit.
It just runs itself. There's very little actual human input.
Right, and then you have him on what was it, fucking Easter? He's like, open the fucking straight, I fucking hate you guys. God damn it, happy Easter.
That's when everybody, that's when you had the amazing moments of where they're talking about there was a tweet that Trump put out, well, Trump's team, whatever, I don't think he tweets, where he says open the fucking straight, and then it ends with praise be to Allah. And we got to the glorious thing of CNN, Fox, and they all read the tweet, and most of them said fucking uncensored on the news, but then they would not. They all
praise
stopped
Allah,
they would not say praise be to Allah. And
it's
like, guys, it just means
Jake
God.
Tapper choked on the words. He couldn't do it. He physically could not do it. Guys, he had a seizure.
Not only does
more than happy to say fuck on air, but
Jake Tapper would not say it. Not only does Allah just mean God, it's literally the same God as if you are a Christian or a Jew. It's the same.
If you subscribe, you're subscribing to the same dude. Sky Daddy is the same guy.
Look,
everyone across the board.
You guys all worship Baal anyway, or else sacrificing children to demons or whatever, or running cover.
Oh yeah. Don't be telling me shit about fucking religion at this point.
If he said God's name, his lips would catch fire, and
right? Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about religion when these people running our fucking country are eating people. All right, all bets are fucking off. Okay, everything is on the goddamn table, and I still don't understand how we ever moved past that and we're allowing it to just go on.
I'm not, baby.
No, right? Yeah, you're gonna hear it from us from now till the end of fucking time because eating people, for Christ's sake. I should not have to emphasize that a bit. The pedophilia and the abuse is its own horrible thing. But when you there needs to be a term for this. I don't know a term for this, but when you have usurped the boundary of all things natural and the order of humanity, into eating people, there is nowhere else to go from there. There's nothing else to do. There's nowhere else to go. We have hit the end of the line. And that's not to say people throughout history weren't always eating people or whatever, but it's generally been pretty fucking frowned upon at this point. So now we have to do war about it, which is gonna go nowhere. But again, this looks like it is hastening the fall of the United States, and it's really being brokered in a really pretty genius way by Iran, who said, you're coming into our house, you're starting problems with us, we were fucking ready for you, you goddamn invading horde, you know, we're taking this on, and in the meantime, we control the commerce of this area, and we're switching to the fucking yen. How about that?
It's gonna
Because
be a
they see the
slow.
writing on the wall, and these other countries and the donors, you know, of other places and things, the big money people of other places, they see the same thing. America is out. They're just a bunch of bully liars. China is sitting there quietly waiting, biding its time, you know, like making a very good case for itself without doing anything, you know, and
From a
that's
very
where the money's
practical
going to go.
standpoint, if they were going to do trade with the U.S., what good do U.S. dollars do for Iran anyway? They're sanctioned and can't do business with people who accept dollars. So like, why wouldn't you be taking Chinese currency?
Right.
So I have like, and I guess today's like an Iran sandwich because I have
Right.
one
Well,
non-Iran
that's
thing.
what's going on. It's Epstein and it's Iran, and that's, you know, we can only talk about what's happening. So, and then obviously, if we get to it, we got some data. Oh, you meant literal sandwich.
This is a different Iran sandwich. Sorry.
I thought you meant like sandwich story.
No, that's my joke. I'm doing an Iran. This is a sandwich from Iran. Apparently, I've had very little Iranian food, and I'd love to try some. And freaking, I'd go there, buddy. Maybe not exactly right now while
Right
we're
now,
actively
yeah.
at war. But
Yeah, let's wait till
I
it
should add
cools
that
out a
to
little
my
bit.
list. I just want to do the like places that they tell you are scary hellholes tour, and then you go and they're very normal and nice.
Oh yeah, and if you see videos of people are shooting, you know, just like on the street, like your TikToks, like, but you wouldn't know it wasn't an American situation, except everybody's being really fucking nice. So that's the only difference. Anyway,
You keep hearing about how like, oh well, we have to go in for the same reason we have to go into Palestine because they throw gays off a building or whatever. It's like, well, you have to go
we
into
have to
Iran.
do democracy on them.
You have to go to Iran because they make women wear veils, and then like there's just a shower of photos, and people in real life who are just like, "Hello, I'm in Iran. Look at my hair. Here it is. No,
Right.
like we are fine. I'm not being beaten to death."
Yeah,
It's-
they're wearing
it's
like regular Western clothes. They've got
Regular
pink hair, like makeup on it. You know, like it's.
and then they'll show somebody like in the back who does have the head thing on. They're like, "See, look." It's like, dude. So if we want freedom, is that the freedom to not be allowed to wear the clothing that you want to wear? Like everyone's heard these arguments before, but here we go from Wall Street apes. That's where this leads somewhere. Wow, Democrats in Wisconsin exempted data centers from taxes on sales, electricity, and electrical equipment. It was signed into law by Democrat Governor Tony Evers. Data centers don't pay taxes on them. They give you a whole list. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's look this up. We've been hearing a bit about data centers for various reasons. So I like, can I find an article or something that isn't Wall Street apes talking about this? And here we go. It is written by a citizen, so I actually trust it more. Citizen Dave over here. Dave Cheslowitz, mate, possibly. See, I would trust a Midwestern Polish person more than I would. One of the hottest issues in Wisconsin right now is the proliferation of data centers. A recent Marquette Law School poll found that a whopping 70% of Wisconsinites think these things are more trouble than they're worth. Yeah. Kind of like the 70 to 80% of Americans who think that we should have health care. But weirdly, that doesn't happen either. So, more trouble than worth. That's a jump up from just 55% who thought that last October. It's like a hot button issue now. Nobody wants data centers. Everybody's AI department's shutting down anyway. And just the pure concept of data centers, if they're for productive use, like I'm not just automatically against them, but they're not being set up.
We know that they're not, and we know that America doesn't have the infrastructure. It's not China. We cannot support this.
They're not set up to benefit anybody but these like NVIDIA, etc. That jump in unfavorability is probably due to the number of proposed projects that have popped up in recent months. While data centers are being sited all over the country, Wisconsin is especially attractive for its abundant water, relatively inexpensive land, and, until at least recently, modestly priced energy. Products are being built in Mount Pleasant, blah, blah, blah. All right. So anyway, I wanna go down here to the important part. That's right. As reported back in September by The Center Square, Wisconsin taxpayers spent $40 million in 2024 to subsidize the construction of data centers. Ironically, when I asked the question to AI, it told me the total was $70 million, probably because the $40 million figure only covers 1 year of the biennium. Cool word. That's because a provision in the 2023-25 state budget created a sales and use tax exemption for these things. The exemption is broad, covering everything from computer hardware to software to office furniture. And this amount, that's part of the use tax, and this amount well exceeded the fiscal estimate when the bill was passed, which was only $8.5 million, and they said it was 40 or 70, depending on what you look up. It's a safe bet that in future 2-year budget cycles, the price tag will top 100 million. And then here's the highlighted bit. This provision was passed by the Republican legislature and signed into law by Democratic Governor Tony Evers.
Here you have it.
It's not because we're already, the energy is very much there already of like, we need to get Democrats in office.
Oh,
and
God.
fix everything.
Showing our whole ass like usual. And I want to interrupt you for 1 second, because we did talk about this last week, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it again, which is that it almost seems like now the orders have come down to Democrats to tank their own party, so as we can really make a real uniparty.
Nobody's voting for Trump again, so like you could do. That's what Kamala was supposed to be. It's like, well, I'm sorry, that's what Biden was. Biden was the most unpopular Democrat possible. Still won the election because it was against who? Trump. And now we have another 2 years. We have this freaking war going on. They know that whatever Republican they're running is not going to win. So you can offer less than nothing.
Polling is still showing Republicans being more popular than Democrats somehow. So that really goes to show. I don't know if the numbers are skewed. You can't really trust polls that much.
It's about who's like activated, motivated to come out. Where for Trump run 2. His base was like a bunch of like poor. It's a bunch of people who worked at McDonald's. It's all you get. All your like bored Walmart employees, not bored, I should say. Like all the people who were previously beaten down and given up hope, or it's like, this is all nonsense. Like which group is going to get excited to actually go out and vote because these elections are won on like 1% margins, 0.1%. Like it's these crazy tiny little. So like. The blue, no matter who people were always going to come out. The red, no matter head people were always going to come out.
The only people that vote anymore at this stage.
The independents.
Where
are they going?
You've really alienated anybody who's like the libertarian area. You've alienated anybody on the left, and then we see that especially as now Gavin Newsom's playing the role of hair Hitler. So he basically is saying things that even the right isn't saying. So it's like, what is your strategy? What is your game plan, except for to actually like tank, like you've gotten your orders down from the top, which is we're going to dissolve the Democratic Party. So I
think there's no way that on a national level that Democrats can lose. They always feel like they can't lose.
It's happened. It happened before. we're dealing with that now. But that again is the fallacy that they're going to change everything and they're going to fix it. That's what people thought Biden was going to do, and he made everything 100% worse because of going to the right.
It's race to the bottom because you have this pendulum where it's people see their lives get worse, so like, oh, I will take the other option, and then their lives get worse, and they're like, oh, I will take the other option, and we're just like, we're on schedule now to return to
right. It is typically, if you just look at things, over time, and the circumstances do change, but it is not typical for after one party to just hold on to power for a long time. Like, oh, we had a back-to-back Democrat, now we're going to have another Democrat, or back-to-back. Like it just doesn't tend to work that way because it's like kind of a seesaw effect. But again, that is what they use. Again, the people who are pulling the strings are using that ideal. Those ideals to motivate people into thinking that they're part of something and really just create a tribalistic red-blue dichotomy on shit. So, because again, if voting made any difference, they wouldn't let you do it. So it's really just a pageant. It's at this point. So again, it's hard reds, hard blues versus each other, and everybody else is already not voting anyways. That's why there's always such big talk every, let's say, more normaler election up to this point, where it's like, well, Hispanic people, Black people don't vote. Oh, I fucking wonder why. Maybe like because they're completely left out of this entire thing. So what happens? Let's run Obama, a Black guy, and let's say all hope and love and peace and unicorns and rainbows for everybody, and everything's wonderful. And that's
That's how you eventually end up with 50.
People in.
That's how you end up with 51%, et cetera, of all these various 51% of Hispanic people voting for Donald Trump. Is it because 51% of Hispanic people are white supremacists? Is it because how do you explain the 10% of African Americans that voted for Obama twice and then Trump? Did they become white supremacists?
Yeah.
The darn black white supremacists are the worst kind.
Yeah, and then that also goes to show you that the people are still subscribing to these just completely made up bullshit politics.
The only thing you're ever suggested that does anything. We'll get to that in 2 more tabs here. What else can we do? But here's a question: Why are these tax exempt statuses in Wisconsin? Amazon, Microsoft, Google, the major players in these projects can afford to pay a sales tax on their computers,
Yes.
bricks and mortars, desk carpeting. Nobody picks a site for a data center based on the rounding error that is state sales tax. As mentioned above, they pick the site based on factors like availability of land, water, cost of electricity. It's one thing to deal with these big disruptive projects as they try to gain local approval. It's quite another for the state to needlessly encourage them with a tax break. See, you can tell this is written by a guy who like has fundamental faith that like the system works as it does. He's like, why are we making these illogical decisions? And
Yeah,
bless
why?
his heart. And to make
Yeah,
matters worse,
right.
data centers can also be subsidized with tax incremental financing. That's when a city freezes the tax before a given development and plows all new revenues created by it into subsidies to benefit the project, like roads, parking, utility work. But I'm highlighting this to and he even goes like, look, I think we should build some things, but not just in a way that in no way benefits the population, the population. Because
Yeah, it's these people, these like in the more the liberal point of view is just like, I don't understand why. I don't understand why.
they just keep
Like,
making these mistakes.
yeah,
So,
we just keep making these mistakes, and if we just get
Oops.
Democrats involved, then we won't have to keep making these mistakes. And it's just like
Bipartisan.
people.
I live in a state where my Democrats here in Arizona, our Democratic state legislature shot down, this is years ago now, but they were going to stop doing civil asset forfeiture, which is when the police can arrest your property and just seize it, including cash, and they can just rob you basically. Everybody, people know about this. There was like a John Oliver on it, whatever. It's been years now. And who made sure that did not pass? Meaning we maintained and still have the ability for cops to arrest your stuff. The Democrats, because the Republicans proposed it, so we got to shut that down. And it's like, what are we doing?
It's just theater. It's theater through and through. And I think
Pretend
people
there's a fight.
have really lost the because it's just been so many years of so many bad things on top of bad things on top of bad things, and people are just arguing on identity politics, and you're supposed to take part in it, but it's bullshit. So people have gotten beaten down to the point that they don't understand the government exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to improve your fucking existence. And that's it. They don't do anything. Their entire function, the reason that they're elected in the first place is because this guy over this guy is going to make things better for you. And now that is just off the fucking table completely. Like there is no make things better for you. So people just think that that's normal at this point.
If you suggest that, you get told to grow up.
Right. Yeah. That's how politics works. It works incrementally, and you don't. No.
Also, there doesn't ever need to be an increment.
Right.
Like it's incremental, but there's never an increment either.
Incrementalism has fucking stopped also. And they
nothing
just
happens.
Yeah, they just do this shit out in front of you, right in front of your face, and then like that's it. There is no more anything else. There's no promise. Nobody's coming out making promises on anything. When's the last time and you heard any campaign promises like we're gonna this, we're gonna that? But then everybody, they know people got so fed up and they shove forward Mom Donnie to be like, here, look, we gave you one. Here's one, and then that's all that there was. And then they're doing like the bottom like of the barrel, most minimal socialistic kind of things to try to turn all that get you out there to vote when all this shit goes down. So like that, so that's not a play in all of this too.
So I'm looking at Politicos talking about the same thing, but you can just see from the headline where it's like Trump backed. It's like, well, we just read that. Okay, Republicans wrote a thing, a Democrat signed it. Like Wisconsin is not known as a like far right stronghold state. So
basically always has been a pretty hard blue working class area space. I mean,
a small Wisconsin city upended by a data center. I don't know if you saw that. I saw clips of some like city council thing where they have just like the whole the high school gymnasium that it's in is just packed with people like boo, no data center, and then they just all right, we have now approved the data center, and everybody's freaking out. It's like
happening everywhere. It just happened
cares
in Illinois. That was a big thing, and it's happening in Indiana. It's happening everywhere.
Why don't you just go to the city council meetings and call your senators? Well, it's because it does not matter.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't matter.
And those people are elected officials. So that's kind of what we're saying here. Like, what's the next step, people? What's the next step?
A lakeside town of roughly 12,000 people just north of Milwaukee appears to be the first time any municipality will go to the ballot to, they actually get to vote on it. Cool. Like directly vote on it, not just like have their supposed representatives on a city council that's, bought and paid for by the data center probably. It marks an aggressive new tactic in an escalating movement to oppose the hulking artificial intelligence, blah, blah, blah. I'm not aware of another ballot referendum that has been taken directly to the voters yet. Yeah, isn't it weird? Like maybe we could do a little bit more of that. Vote comes as companies descend on middle America, build data centers. Okay, So what is it? If it passes, the referendum won't actually derail
Right.
the proposed data center. So what will it do? Rather, it would allow residents to potentially obstruct future projects by
Okay.
requiring them to, like, it's just... How do you say we have a democracy at all? Like, how do you
Yeah,
pretend...
yeah. That is literally what we're saying. The whole
Do
like
you
on
see why
every
they needed
single
to
point.
make? Do you see why they needed to make complaining about the legitimacy of our democracy a quote right-wing fascist Nazi January 6th fucking you're a Satan if you ever bring up a stolen election ever
Right.
again? That used to be the left-wing thing back when Al Gore. We were talking about how our elections are bullshit, and now suddenly that's an off limit. Like anything that could be effective at talking to like any actual complaining. If you talk about groceries being expensive, that's right-wing coded now. Like you
Oh yeah.
just the actual legitimate complaints that I'm not just mean me specifically that like the populace of America has all been right wing coded. So now like the only way to be a good quote left wing person is you vote and then you support dear leader and you like
Yes.
get a freaking tattoo of AOC on your face or
Right.
whatever. Like
And you know, it was a few years ago, a couple cycles back. I believe it was Kansas City. They had a ballot initiative where they said, "Do we raise the minimum wage?" And then everybody's like, "Yeah, we raised the motherfucking minimum wage." And they're like, "Okay, you guys all voted for that. We're not doing it. Fuck you. We're not doing it." So that's literally what happened. It was a couple cycles back, but it's you know that's kind of the whole point. Like these people are actively ignoring you.
you
They're
have to get these senators. What is it, Ossoff and the other guy in the was it the
oh, you're drawn
Carolinas?
off. Yeah.
Because we're gonna vote for a $15 minimum wage, and if you don't get those senators in there, and that's when my senator, Democrat, was wearing a schoolgirl outfit for some reason and did
Oh,
a
yeah.
curtsy with a COVID mask, and then
Right.
said boom, and you
Yeah.
know it's if we just watch one more Democrat and fucking just
Yeah.
one more Republican, and we'll totally
Like we don't have to tell you what to do. Like you should be able to come to these conclusions yourself. Like how like
Everybody
what
has-
comes next here. Like when you have a government that is from bottom to top completely rogue and serving the interests of only the people who are pulling their strings, and they are involved in politics because they wanted to benefit from this materially themselves, but had no actual intentions of serving the public in any meaningful way. And again, from bottom to top, let's like A plus B equals C here, guys. Like what comes next? Like there's options. There are options here, and we're not necessarily saying any particular one of them. But the idea is that at what point do you stop just bending and seeing
the
how
bare
far it's going to
minimum.
break?
The bare minimum is acknowledgement that this is not anything. Like not
Yes.
that it doesn't work. Because saying it doesn't work implies that like it's trying to work and it just can't get. It is
Right.
designed to do exactly what it does,
Yes.
and that is to turn democratic will into like, oh well, look, see, we let you vote, therefore like you wanted this somehow. Like
You
well,
did
we have
this to yourselves.
representative
So,
democracy, like your reps did. So hey, this is from your neck of the woods. This is from
Yes.
Indianapolis.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was going to mention this. This happened. People are not super convinced that he didn't do it to himself.
I think
But-
this looks very fake. Yes.
Oh, and this guy's like, he's supposed to be like Democratic or some shit or whatever. And he's like, my faith says forgive, but I want to know why. And it's like, man, go fuck yourself.
Councilman says someone fired shots at his home and left a no data sentence. Like remember the like Black's rule spray painted on the guy's like porch
Yeah,
when he did it
had
to
that
his own
vibe. Had that vibe.
No data centers in a note. So apparently they shot up a guy's house. No one was hit by bullets. Actually, Frick, does it say
No.
that? Say that were they home when it happened? Oh, it said they weren't harmed. 12, but it was after midnight,
think
so I
he wa-
assume they were home.
Yeah, well, he was home, and then but like for some reason was like, where is my child? And then like police had to get him. Is he not with you? Like people
It
had to
says,
get
yeah,
involved.
His son played with Legos the day before, implying that like they weren't there. I mean, good. I don't want anyone to be hurt. But
Yeah.
yeah, they just shot at the front of this guy's house and then like walked up and stuck this note under their thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Reality is deeply unsettling, Gibson said. It was not just an attack on my home, but endangering my child, disrupting the safety of our entire neighborhood. Found evidence of gunshots being fired at the house. No injuries reported. They believe it's an isolated incident, and the FBI was assisting. Great. I was waiting for the FBI to be like, we have this guy on our radar. Last week, the Indianapolis Metropolitan Development Commission approved a rezoning petition for a project for a Metro Blocks a data center project in Gibson's district. Some area residents and leaders opposed the project. Attended last week's hearing. Is that the hearing where everybody was like booing and they just
Oh,
did it
they
anyway?
do it every time, and that's what at first Indiana was kind of leading in the like we're stopping this, we're putting this down,
They're like,
but
we
then
don't care what you think. Actually,
yeah,
we're
that's
doing
exactly
it.
what happened. That is precisely what happened.
I
And
just remembered. I don't fucking care.
yeah, that's exactly what happened. So they will have like these packed places and overflow, and they'll all be against it, and then they'll
Start
sit there for
flipping
hours.
people's cars, everybody.
Yeah.
That doesn't hurt them. Just start rolling their cars over and then stand around at them and just be like,
Do something. I mean, like that's the thing. Like there has to be something
don't help
here.
them.
Because like this is happening in every state, in every community, everywhere around the
Gently
country.
roll the car over, and then it's like, well, better have your data center come pick you up, man, because you're not getting
Yeah,
home in
right.
the car.
Yeah, you want to live in the data center now? Yeah. So I mean that's what we're talking about here. Like these people, like there was a story about this just as an example. Like it just happened like a night or two ago in Illinois, where they wanted to make 14 data centers. They were approving 14 in one shot, and this was a gigantic event local, or like the people, and they said the people that were there said that they spent like 6 hours sitting there saying no, 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 for God's sake, no, 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 and it was passed unanimously.
Yeah.
So
They
and
don't
then
even do
their
the-
comment on it was like, hey, did you guys know that a pound of sugar ruins uncured cement? Did you know this? So, I mean, people are starting to, this is not something you can just continue to ignore. This is happening in your backyard. This is happening everywhere. And the people that are elected by you are making your life fundamentally worse. They're not just not doing anything, they're making your life worse. And, if you follow this path down, this is what we've been talking about just over and over and over again. It's like, okay, well, they criminalize homelessness to make sure that the people that have been, because of the economy and the houselessness and the no food and the no jobs are forced into homelessness. And then it becomes a crime to be homeless. And then you go to jail, and then now you are slave labor because that's fucking legal to do that. And every major corporation and company in this country uses it, from McDonald's to fucking Listerine. They all employ the slave workers that are prisoners. So it's really like an obvious circle. We've been talking about
And that's
this.
not even talking about imported immigrant labor, which
right.
is
Yeah, and I feel like we've been talking about this since day
domestic
one.
and international slave labor is
Like-
required to make our system still run.
Yeah, these are seriously the last steps of like anything. So it's like and they are banking on people just taking it, just continually taking it. And that's
we are
how
going to
we
be the
got
last.
here.
We're going to be the last ones to have our crappy lives. Like freaking the real people who should be worried are like Germans, Swedes. Maybe not necessarily. Like the farther, if you're
British
like
aren't
on
doing
the
great,
edge right now, that's who's eating it first. I mean, our gas does not go through the Strait of Hormuz, and we're going to be holding on to $10 gas while people in freaking I was about to say, yeah, Norway, sure. People in Norway are suddenly paying. Yeah, Norway, they make a lot of drones, so they'd probably be pretty late on it also. I think this whole nonsense is probably going to spin itself out for the next 30 to 50 years. And then, like you were talking about at the top of this, people just work with China, and U.S. influence shrinks and shrinks. Because China has like, why doesn't China go do something rash? And it's like, well, China has a vested interest in having the U.S. not feel like a cornered rat that suddenly needs to like launch all of its nukes. It's way better to have this gradual step down, and then by the time the actual like the tables have turned, it's like, well, they don't have the ability to do that anymore. Like we don't have the ability to keep all of our freaking lights on, and it's really early into the cycle. So like, good luck, everybody. But I do think it'll hit us last.
Well, I don't know. I feel like we're gonna the snake that's constricting us is just gonna get tighter and tighter and tighter unless people do something about it. Because the people who are gonna suffer from all of this is Americans further, like the United States further. Citizens are like, we already are all basically hanging by a thread at this point. And then again, the cycle I just described about slavery. So like, that's the ultimate goal here. And don't forget that these Epstein people, like their big plan was like, okay, like literally, like no joke here, and Bill Gates was involved in this, and like lots of other people, like, how do we kill all the poor people? And if you think I'm being hyperbolistic, I'm not. That was literally like, that was in the emails, in the transactions. How do we kill the poor people?
That's why he's so concerned about overpopulation, which is fake.
Yeah, suddenly, magically, yeah. And the fact of it is, it's like, okay, so they're walking this plan through, right? They believe that if they kill all the poor people and they have a much smaller concentrated population, much more dependent on them and that what they can provide, then ultimately that means that they're going to get to run amok on the planet, have it to themselves, yet still have the people who are left working as their servants and slaves. And that is not, again, that is not a joke. That is what these people think. So that is literally where we're headed when we're talking about, it's like, what was the world? Let me see, with the World something fund or something. I can't
Economic Forum.
Yeah, World Economic Forum. Yeah, which is not the first time that they've done it, but they were just recently having a big, like, salon about like, okay, well, soil and water and air need to be commodified. Like, okay, like when you have people talking like that, like where do you fucking go from there? So like, that again, they're banking on everybody in the world, not just the United States in this way, but they're just banking on people taking it and continuing to take it and being okay with being put in prison because they lost literally everything. After a couple of bad months, after they made sure there were no jobs and there was nothing, like what are we, these data centers like don't make jobs. They lie to you and tell you that they do. The AI, which is nobody is in favor of at this point. Everybody's pretty well informed. But nobody wants it. Nobody wants the data centers. We know the United States, you don't even have to understand that the United States can't support it and support the infrastructure to know you don't fucking want one in your neighborhood. So the fact of it is we couldn't be meeting harder here. This is not sustainable, and that they are literally using us for as much to extract value from us and in the olden days, and this is again a quote from Rome, which we know historically fell, which is give them bread and circuses, but now we don't have bread or circuses, so and they're just like, haha, fuck you, right in your fucking face. So when and how, and don't tell me no kings is the way, and this is the first time since this no kings nonsense started that I saw so much pushback against it. And it's sort of what happened with the Occupy Wall Street movement. Like people were real big mad, but then they're like, we don't know what to do. We're going back to work. So that's basically what happened with that. And then it ended up turning into some kind of industry. The same thing seemed to happen with Black Lives Matter. We're big mad. No, we're just going back to work. Fuck it. And everybody just gives up. So it's, there eventually there's going to come a time when there's no more give up. And that's not necessarily to say that Jared or myself have like the best idea, like we're the smartest like organizers or we know what needs to happen, but somebody does. There are people out there with expertise in these kinds of things, and no kings is not the answer. We're real far behind on that.
The bare minimum is abandoning the uniparty.
Yes.
Not legitimizing the thing. I mean, it doesn't mean you go like evangelically running around but it's like, stop giving them your freaking money and time. Talking about protests. Just needed to bring this up because the tankies are always right. Hi, I'm the tankies. I'm always right. Remember we talked about this? Iran protest death toll could top 30 quintillion people, according to local health officials. This is from January, so earlier this year. As many as 30,000 people could
potentially might
could have been killed in the streets of Iran. Two senior officials of the country's Ministry of Health told Time, indicating a dramatic surge in death toll. So many people were slaughtered by Iranian security services, meaning the government.
Oh yeah, and then they were saying it was like 50,000 at one point. Yeah,
the number was somewhere between 20 and 50,000 are the numbers that I saw. And it's not that no one died or that there weren't protests. The real number seems to be somewhere around 3,000, which is fucked up, of course. But oh wow, the 3,000 announced by regime hardliners. Like wow, the number that Iran's government said turned out to be real. But so like funny thing about that. Like, Israeli Times, remember I said we were doing this. We're here now. Times of Israel. I'm very upset, Trump says. U.S. tried to arm Iranian protesters, but guns were diverted. If you didn't see a couple of days ago on air, somebody was just like, yeah, so anyway, we were sending weapons to the Iranian protests, and people who pay attention go, wait, what? We're not supposed to do that? That's not supposed to be a thing we do.
We were saying that when it started. We were like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
This is some CIA horse shit, and it's like, turns out, yes, it was exactly. So then they had to like pivot, and this is the pivot. It's like, well, no. We tried to arm them, but failed. See,
so like, it didn't crazy like a fox, right?
We didn't actually arm them. We tried to, so we're not going to pretend that he didn't say that. We're instead going to pretend that it like means something else. I went back here. where, oh yeah, the Kurds, those damn dirty Kurds, who are also like a group that the U.S. has been like hyping up to go do just chaos, to create chaos. The same reason that we fund like ISIS and shit. It's every once in a while it is helpful to have like a local mafia like do dirty work for you. Like, hey, you got to get these drugs in and out somehow. But
Right.
the Kurds are not a mafia. It's a one of the branches of like, if you think of like Protestant Christianity, how we have like freaking Pentecostals and Methodists, like Islam has that too, and Kurdish people are one of the spin-offs, and they famously they're also the ones where it's like Syria involves the Kurds also. It's like whenever the U.S. wants some destabilizing shit, they go at they amp up certain. So not all freaking Kurds are insane terrorists, by the way. I definitely don't want to imply that, but that seems to be where the U.S. is like, here's some guns, go do some shit.
Right. Yeah.
Same thing in like North Syria, which I already talked about, and Turkey has their own issue with that, and but U.S. President Donald Trump said Monday that the United States has previously attempted to arm Iranian anti-regime protesters, but the weapons were diverted and never passed to the right people, threatening that those who kept the guns for themselves would pay a big price. The comments appear to be aimed at Kurdish separatists, as he had blamed them for doing so a day earlier, though he did not specify this in his Monday comment. While speaking to reporters at a White House Easter event, Trump said, "Open the fucking strait, praise to Allah." Trump said the armaments were intended to reach anti-government protesters. Like, you see how that's bad though, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
this is
What
what
business
people
do you have doing this?
this is what Tiananmen Square truthers say happened in Tiananmen Square, is that like it's not that there wasn't a protest or that no one had these opinions, but it's that the U.S. finds the craziest people and gives them guns and says,
Right.
do it, go do some shit. And then you have reports of student protesters suddenly having frickin', I was gonna say AKs, but that'd be the Soviet ones,
Right.
M6s, whatever. They had
Yeah.
they suddenly have guns and they're burning police officers alive and hanging people out of buses and all this
And
crazy
that's what they
shit.
do to people here. We talked about this all the time. It's just like, you have the CIA and the FBI going out and talking to people and looking for the most vulnerable and working wheedly. Hey, you should do something about this. You need to be the only hero and then that's you get a shooting.
That was their
Charlie
method for
Kirk's head
breaking up
gets
the
blown off or whatever.
They're
So
breaking up the Black Panthers that way. They're trying to be like,
Yeah.
look, they're all crazy psycho terrorists with all these guns. Here,
Yeah.
here, let's find somebody who's on the edge and push them over it.
right, exactly that. And that's like pretty much a tale as old as time when it comes to the United States. So
He has since said the Iranians should take to the streets only after protecting themselves from the bombing campaign.
right.
Jesus. During waves of anti-regime protests swept. They're still not denying that anti-regime protests swept across Iran. I'm like, and they were so popular that, like, how you can't have both. You can't both have like everyone in the country hates their government and is just waiting for them to get overthrown, and also through this whole war, there's just millions of people in the streets being like, "Fuck up Israel, we don't care, do it, like, for us." Like, the Iranian people are pretty damn united right now because we're bombing them. We blew up a school with 200
right.
children in it, and they are still mad about that. Actually, they still talk about it every day. That will be. Like, we did like a 9/11 on them, but like
Right.
a real one, and we expect, calm down, gee.
Right, yeah. Get over it. Like, stop talking about it. What are you going to be on about forever?
Why don't you overthrow your government? It's like, why would we overthrow our government? Your government just did all that. Like,
Right.
nothing unifies a people more than an existential crisis, meaning a country about to make them not a country. Like, they're being literally invaded from all sides. Well, not so much anymore because the
don't
bases
forget
are.
this is like happening to them in their own country. Americans have no concept of this. So they've never had a domestic thing since like the fucking Civil War. So like this is not, nobody here for like 200 years has any idea what it's like to have any kind of domestic conflict happening and that directly involves you.
In his press event Monday, Trump did not give details about who he was accusing of taking U.S. weapons. However, on Sunday, Trump was quoted as saying by a Fox News reporter that he blamed Kurdish intermediaries for having taken the weapons destined for Iranian dissidents. "Oh, we sent guns to the protesters, a lot of them, and I think the Kurds took the guns." Like,
God damn it.
they say like he implied. I'm like, no, he just said it directly.
Right, yeah.
He did not provide evidence for. All right, they bring death to themselves. All right. So anyway, I think Well, I mean, no matter what happens, Iran's probably going to end up being fine in the end. Like, if we do a
Yeah, they
ground
will be.
invasion, it's just another Vietnam situation, and we don't
Yeah,
have
they're
nearly as
they're
many
well.
people.
Then that's the thing too, is they're prepared. They've been working on this for a long time. They're like surrounded by mountains, so they're really like well fortified physically. Like they know what they're doing. And I think that like the best like thing that you really gain out of this is just how like calm and cool they've been playing it, because like after he was like, I'm gonna fucking strike, like they literally like their official response was, this is who you let run your country.
You have Iran, you have our government just being what it is, and
Right,
then you
yeah,
have
this is what it is when when things fall the fuck apart. Like you
you have
can look at it,
Iran.
anywhere. There's very obvious benefits to the rest of the world for cutting out the United States dominance, the historical dominance, because out of right now these other places who also have their own rich people and that are calling shots in certain places, they also don't see that the United States has been failing for decades. It's not just like on the world stage, but domestically we don't produce anything, we don't generate any money, we still we waste money like crazy. We always have a huge debt that we have, China usually buys from us and things like this. So we're like bottom of the world when it comes to education. We don't, we are polluting everything all the time, and yet we have the audacity to bully everybody else into trying to do business with us and to trying to messing up their economy so that they have to, and this, that, and the other. And
You had them saying
eventually people get sick of that shit. So the people who have been, funding all of this here have come to see that there is no more economic value in the United States in the way that it is. So they're going to start leaving and going in other locations, making other deals. And then this is kind of working like a flex point that we haven't had up to this point, where now we have a very strong military presence and a very calm heads prevailing with Iran, who now can work with their neighbors who have gotten these military bases out of their neighbors' countries. You're welcome. Like that's a good way to make allies right there. And then go to France and then be like, come on, bros, like let's do it. And then like go to China, go to Russia, all these other major powers, and be like, look, like let's align here, let's do something. And that's what's happening. It's what's gonna happen. It's just now it's like right in front of our faces, and it's really pretty undeniable at this point. But you're still gonna have these very confused and propagandized people. And it doesn't really necessarily have to do with people being too stupid, which we know Americans are dumb, but some people aren't. Individuals are smart, people are stupid. So we know that a lack of education, a lack of civics and things like this have made Americans in particular really stupid and really gullible and susceptible to propaganda. But some of the people that are the worst offenders of this are very smart people ordinarily, so it's not just like the stereotype of like the dumbest hillbilly dirter that you can find is the one not getting it.
Hillbillies so much more.
Right, yeah, they're the ones that are suffering the most. And we have had studies done by the UN and especially in the Appalachian region that said, no, this is below poverty. This is like ultra poverty. This is like the worst poverty, like on par with other places in the world that literally are like starving and dying. Like, so
You'll
we
hear
know
about these Soviet countries who put like, oh, they put this guy in charge who was just like this regular guy. His previous job was he was a farmer or something. He's not even qualified. And I'm sitting here like, I think that might actually be the strategy, because I bet that was not some Epstein guy.
Right, yeah, it's like the most qualified guy. Actually,
I'd rather have a normal motherfucker running my country at this point. Anybody but this like freaking group of CIA groomed, grown in a lab assholes. Like it's
right.
The AOC.
Who just take orders. And it's not like we're going to have somebody like buck the system, because again, what happens when you buck the system, particularly the CIA, anybody, head blown off in parade. So, and then it happens to your brother 4 years later. So
you're getting that dude from Maine who has not the Nazi tattoos, but also is apparently the best progressive. He's the new Mamdani. I don't remember his freaking name even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The senator, governor candidate, I think, from Maine. Where he's like, I got this tattoo a long time ago. I don't even know what it is. And it's like Black Sun. And you're like, oh,
right?
Crazy.
I'm military. Don't you love that? Because we
still I didn't know you're Ukrainian.
Right? Yeah, we still have that, that's still so ingrained in the population. And we know that like people seem really fucking stupid all the time because they just can't. Why is this happening? It's so easy to solve this problem. If they just stop, and if they just why the fuck do you think it's happening? Just open your brain up a little bit more, just a little bit more. And it's the most frustrating when it's the smartest people among us that you would think should understand. Like, you're almost fucking there. You're almost there, but you're still doing corporate bidding, and you're still trying to like not be silenced or whatever.
You're paid to not freaking get it. I had this thought a few weeks ago, but it keeps coming back to me, where it's, if no matter what you're doing, no matter which quote side you're on, like this is how I explain, like, people like how Joe Walsh is now like, "Oh, I'm a big Democrat now, and the Democrats go to work hard." It's, there is no money to be made in not supporting empire. You can support, like, no, if you're the anti-empire person, you're either eventually going to come circle back around. Like, freaking look at Joe Rogan, like, that's, he just shills for whoever now.
And Tucker Carlson.
You don't make money saying stop participating in this BS system, because once people stop, the BS system is what pays your freaking bills. So
yeah, but then now I think that some of these talking heads have like gotten to where that they can make money like independently, or they can really bank on their own, I don't know, their own
people aren't
ego.
You don't build a big ass fan base nearly as easily, because if you're doing let's go red or let's go blue, that's like, boom, you already have your built-in like marketing demographic that's going to get you Patreons and like selling hats and shirts, or you have a shirt that just says stop it, like, I guess you could, but it doesn't tend to inspire, because eventually your followers, because freaking, if you're going with me, it's like, all right, what I promised you is some really long books that you must read, and then you have to have awkward conversations with the people who live right next to you, and that's not fun. It's way more fun to be like, person destroyed in epic Republican debate, all snowflakes shattered, like that shit gets clicks and attention and sells merchandise, etc. Being like saying, hey, this is all fake, that doesn't get you anywhere. It's like, stop doing this thing. Okay, now give me money so we can keep doing the thing.
Well, and while this is going on, and that's, I think maybe one of the most, I don't know, internationally I think it's a little bit different, but at least domestically, one of the biggest ruinations of everything in this country is advertising. Like, nothing, there's like, it's so far beyond being
I never see TV, and then when I do, it's just like, oh.
It's just you just cannot function. There's nothing without advertising at this point, and it doesn't fucking work, and nobody cares. They're just jerking each other off. It's a big fucking circle jerk between these companies and whoever they're broadcasting to or whatever, because it's just the money's just circling around them, but nobody is listening. Like, who is literally like, I'm going to unmute these commercials and I'm going to watch attentively because I want to know all of these products so I can go. Nobody does that. No one. Everybody hates fucking commercials in any fucking form. At billboards, on buses, it doesn't matter. It's like there's everything that's been commercialized to the point that it's just like, this cannot be more useless and more detrimental and more infuriating. And yet they find more and more ways to do it, and to figure it out. That's, I think, a story for another day. We are at the top of the hour now. My
final thing that I keep going back to this. It's a freaking tweet from where it's what is it? It's damn it, let me read it verbatim. It's taking it away from me now. But it's like, my friend has a Chinese, there it is. Chinese international student in my class was telling me about, and this is from 2024, about how his evangelical dad in Beijing believes that Trump was chosen by God to win the election, but that this victory is part of a larger divine plan to destroy the United States. He's pulling us out of NATO, maybe. All of our bases are going at, like, all the shit with Iran. Like, we're getting bomb strikes on, like, Amazon Web Service things in the Middle East.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And the American people, by and large, is like,
thought, honestly,
fuck it. Do it, man. Blow up my debt. Do a Mr. Robot on us.
Right? Yeah. Like, I think after that happened, like, I think we all were like, is anybody who knows how to do this getting ideas? Like, guys, come on. Like, let's do this. Right? So I think we're still holding out for a Mr. Robot for sure. But yeah, that honestly, like, all right, if that's the route you want to take, then, like, I think the rest of us might just say clandestine. But if you want to say evangelical, God chose to ruin the United States, I'm with you, because we're in the United States and we don't want to suffer more than we have. But we want it to stop. We want the tyranny to end, and we know that the rest of the world wants the tyranny to end.
Trust the plan is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're willing to roll the dice on it. So, yeah, so that's basically what it is. We will probably have more of these same exact topics next week because this is what's going on. It just kind of depends on what all happens in this upcoming week of the horrors and surviving them. So, thank you for surviving them with us for this week. We appreciate you. And if you got any questions, comments, you can hit us on our socials. We're kind of invisible out here because we say all the wrong things that people in the corporations don't like. So we're out there, so you can find us, and we'll cover. We'll talk about it if what you're thinking, and you can always watch our previous episodes, our archive episodes on YouTube and Rumble. Yeah, sometimes though I forget to put them on Rumble, so it's a little bit of a delay. So yeah, but they'll show up there eventually if you for some reason like to do that instead of YouTube. But take care of each other, guys, and try to stay chill and try to keep it together and fight your local data centers and start asking yourself some questions about where do I fit into all of this and what do I want to see happen in the future, and what do I think about the fact that politicians now just exist to hurt us. So these are the questions. Let's start there. So take care, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.